Good evening on this Veterans Day. We'll have more on today's events in just a moment. But first, we are still getting photos and video clips from people all around Alaska, showing us what the massive winter storm was like for them.
And thanks to those submissions from our viewers, our coverage of the storm was even better and wider in scope. Channel 2's Todd Walker takes a look at the impact of citizen journalists on telling the storm story.
As our cameras rolled on the wild weather of the past week, we weren't alone. In fact, we were quite outnumbered. Over the last few days, we've speculated this massive storm may be the most documented event in Alaska history. Hundreds of citizen journalists from around the storm zone sent us photos and videos of what was happening right outside their window. It allowed us to bring you coverage like never before, and thanks to you, coverage of what we're now calling the iStorm. Early Wednesday morning, winds hit their strongest in Unalakleet. The largest storm in nearly 40 years was slamming western Alaska. Covering a storm hundreds of miles long presents many challenges for both reporters.
It's just after midnight, and this is the strongest that we felt the wind all evening.
And entire news organizations.
What I'm really impressed with is people just kind of knew.
While our crew was riding out what was dubbed the Blizzicane in one village, cameras all over the state were rolling.
It's a good little camera. It takes great pictures.
Elmer Bakolik was in Shaktoolik for the storm. He submitted these images to us on Facebook.
There's been many storms I've seen growing up as kids, and they never make the news. You know, it's never really documented too much. And now with technology, we're able to just upload it right to the internet.
And people all across Alaska have been posting on our Facebook page.
We asked for people to start submitting photos early on in the process, and then it just snowballed from there.
KTUU Digital Director Tim Akimoff says the hundreds of photos and videos were the biggest example of citizen journalism in action he's ever seen.
And then I think it really brought the storm home for everyone.
It's coverage that just a few years ago would have been impossible.
The technology is just so simplified and so small now that anyone can be a citizen journalist.
This is actually as the water is receding.
It was sometimes a cumbersome task. Internet service in rural Alaska can be spotty even on a good day.
It took about 2 hours to send a 39-second video that I had made right at the peak of the storm.
And even though they're only short clips, together they make up vital parts of covering this history-making storm.
Alaska basically told its own story, and it was fantastic.
And we continue to add the hundreds of photos and video clips that are still streaming into our newsroom to KTUU.com, and you can still check them out there. Todd Walker, Channel 2 News.
We want to thank our viewers for all that.